Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome to The Splash Live. Dave Scott here in our Splash Live studios. Tyler Keefe is off today. Jared in Master Control. Calvin is off today. Tyler and Calvin, I don't know where they are. Jared, it's you and I making it all happen on the program. The program doesn't happen without you guys at home. Thank you so much for watching our program today. Splash Live is here each and every Monday through Friday. We kick it off now at 8:30, and the program continues and repeats until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Lots of opportunity. Tune and watch. You can watch on cable, as we always have been for the past 20 years, on Channel 15 on Comcast, over on Channel 99 on AT&T. If you want, you can watch on the web. A lot of people do that, over 50,000 people every year. Check into CivicCenterTV.com. You get our full high-definition video, our complete program guide, our comprehensive on-demand area, so you can go back and watch any of our shows or individual interviews from this program and our other programs, and see a lot of other stuff from the 10, 20, 30-year history of Civic Center TV. We're on social media each and every morning. That includes Facebook and YouTube. Just go out there and search for CivicCenterTV.com. And of course, we are here on the radios. We are each and every day, so you can transition from your computer into your car and just turn the radio on. You don't need to mess with your phone in your car at all. Just turn on 89.3 Lakes FM, and we are all set. So we got a busy day here on the program. Taking a look at the headlines today on our show. First of all, we take a look in Keagle Harbor and Sylvan Lake at the road construction project. We got tons of video. We'll show you exactly what's going on the ground and in the air today in the program. And here's the big news. If you avoid rush hour, then you really avoid a lot of the big congestion problems in Keagle. Let me slide a little over. Did I got to slide this way, Jared? There we go. That's better. If you do that, then you're going to avoid the problem. I mean, take a look at that video right there that we have there now. You see there aren't that many people on the road, and that was shot in the early morning hours. We have video in the early morning and the evening hours, and you will see that navigating Keagle, Sylvan Lake, and the Orchard Lake road construction, not too bad during those non-prime hours. Joining us on the program today is West Bloomfield teacher Pashun Barnes, who has put together an amazing program that's getting her regional and to some degree national attention in the media. It is a black hair camp, and she is helping young women in our community and all around Metro Detroit deal with the challenges of dealing with hair. So I get the same problem, but I don't have all of the same challenges that young African-American women have. So she talks all about that. It's a great program and a great idea, and we'll find out more about that this morning on the program. Adaptive recreation programs continue, and there are even more and more around the county. We're going to take a look at some of the adaptive programs. So if you're wheelchair bound or you have mobility issues, there are some great opportunities for you to get out and enjoy this summertime. And we'll talk more about that on the program. Juneteenth is a federal holiday, but all of the states haven't picked up on it. There is our Governor Whitmer signing a bill bringing Juneteenth into law as a holiday here in the state of Michigan. We're going to talk to some folks about that this morning on the program. As you know, I'm a big Eagles fan, and Eagles tickets go on sale this morning at 10 o'clock. So, I mean, I have no idea how to get in line, how to buy these tickets online. I'm not, I don't have kids, so I'm not buying tickets for these huge concerts for my kids. Haven't bought really important tickets like this for an awful long time. My good friend Gary Graff, columnist, music columnist, author. He was the guy who was just in West Bloomfield promoting his new book about Alice Cooper. Gary Graff joins us on the show this morning, and we're going to talk about the Eagles tour, and and also find out a little bit more about what you might need to do. A couple of tips that you could use for getting tickets for this Eagles concert or any other. And by the way, this weekend is a huge concert weekend here in Metro Detroit with a zillion different concerts going on. Gary's going to be pretty busy. He keeps us up to date on all that. And we've got video from Facebook today from Martin Manna at the Chaldean Community Center, and they are moving through the approval process for their brand new updated construction project here in West Bloomfield that will result in a beautiful new Chaldean Cultural Center being established right here in West Bloomfield. That's the rendering right here we're going to put up on our screen. There you go. Martin checks in via Facebook, via video he posted. We'll play that for you and give you an update on how that whole project is going. So an awful lot to get to this morning. First of all, let's take a look at the weather before we get into anything else, and really not too bad. Today's weather looking pretty good. We're going to be in the low 80s. That's awful comfortable, and for the most part, some sunshine, a couple of clouds. We do have a few showers as we head into the front side of the weekend, but everything is going to clean up real nice as we get into Sunday. Temperatures right where you'd like to see them, right in the middle of the summer, in the 70s and the 80s. So an awfully good weekend. You may have to pick your moments on Saturday, but generally it's going to be a really nice day today and a really nice weekend right here in Metro Detroit. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll get to our many news stories here in and around West Bloomfield, Keegle Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Oakland County, and the state of Michigan. It's all coming up this morning for you on the Splash Live. I'm Dave Scott, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here. Old guy, I need my readers on to get to the show. Coming up on the program in just a couple of minutes, Pashun Barnes checks in. She's a teacher at West Bloomfield Schools. She's helping young African-American women with their hairstyles at a hair camp. Very cool. We'll talk to her in a minute. And Juneteenth becomes a statewide holiday here in the state of Michigan. Vincent Kirkwood, he's on our West Bloomfield Parks board and also part of our diversity task force in West Bloomfield and a diversity expert in general in his day job. He joins us later on the program along with Gary Graff, music journalist extraordinaire, talking about how to get tickets for that Eagles concert. But first of all, before we get to all of that, let's take a look at some of this video from the construction zone in Keegle Harbor and Sylvan Lake. And as you must know by now, and I think people are really figuring out what's going on, as you likely know, that area is undergoing a major construction project. Commerce Road is closed at the intersection of Orchard Lake Road. Orchard Lake Road from Commerce Road all the way up around the big curve and up through Middlebelt Road is down to 2 lanes. They're piece by piece resurfacing the road, so there's going to only be 2 lanes on the southernmost part of this whole construction project. There's no northbound traffic. You've got to skirt around to get on northbound Orchard Lake Road, and certainly it's challenging for people coming from the Lakes area, coming up Cass Lake Road, trying to get into this district. But I can tell you, and you can see from this video as we take a look at some of the construction that's going on. I got a couple of clips here to show you this morning. here's the headline today. If you can avoid rush hour, this isn't really so bad. You could still get into the area of businesses. You could see the footage that we have right here. The roads aren't jammed up. Orchard Lake Road generally is not jammed up, and I've got more footage here we'll get to and show you. If you're going to go through during rush hour, expect the worst. And certainly when someone's trying to make a left turn, if that's going on, I saw some of that yesterday, and other issues are certainly going to create snarls in there, and definitely during rush hour. But during non-rush hour peak times, we're seeing that the traffic is moderating a little bit. First couple of days of this construction project, it was really awful because I don't think people really understood the depth and magnitude of the project. Now that they have and they've driven through it, I think people get it, and they're avoiding the area as much as possible and taking it off their daily commute. So we got that traffic off of Orchard Lake Road. And again, if you can avoid Orchard Lake Road during rush hour, not a bad deal. Let's go to the aerial video, Jared, if we can. I shot this last night just before 8 o'clock, and here we are coming up on Middle Belt and Orchard Lake Road, and we're getting ready to head south here on Orchard Lake Road. You can see, and like I said, this is around 8 o'clock. You can see that there is traffic there. But why don't you take that full screen, Jared, so we can see a little bit better. You can see that there's traffic there, but it's really not awful. Okay, so the traffic is moving through the area. If you look close, you can notice that they are working right now on resurfacing the southbound lanes, and the traffic has moved over to the northbound side. You saw that from some of the other video. But taking a look here, if you can see it on this aerial shot, we're going to get a really nice view here as we come around the big curve on Orchard Lake Road down by the new Roosevelt Middle School. You could see that there's traffic there, but it's not like every car and every area is stopped and there's no movement. So the northbound traffic on Middle Belt Road, not quite as bad as it has been the past couple of days, accessing this area, as you can see from this shot. And when you do get onto Orchard Lake Road, not awful. So get out there, support our area businesses, enjoy our community, and maybe do what you can to avoid traveling through this area during rush hour. So we love it when something happens in West Bloomfield and catches the eye of the media and the attention of others, and that certainly is the case with our next guest. Joining us here on the Splash Live is West Bloomfield teacher Pashun Barnes. Pashun, good morning and welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
So I'm doing fantastic. So I'm perusing the media the other day, part of what I do every day to get ready for the show, and I see this huge article about you in MLive, one of our biggest news outlets in the state of Michigan online, talking about your hair camp. We've got some images here. Tell people what this is all about and why you've started this.
So it's a braiding camp. It's for the youth, anybody. And it started actually. I braid hair, and it started with one of my clients who also happened to be one of my sorority sisters of Delta Sigma Theta. And, I was braiding her hair and she said, this is just so great. I would really like to be able to braid my daughter's hair. She was like, do you think you could teach me how to braid hair? She said, I think you should offer something because it's something that everyone could benefit from. And being the teacher that I am, and I've been in education about 20 years, my mind goes straight to the children, unfortunately, because I'm always thinking about the children. And, I have my daughter as well. And I said, that's a good idea. But instead of going in a direction she wanted right away, I said, I would like to work with my kids that I already know and teach them an entrepreneurial skill that will help them. Because just like this mother was asking about being able to, braid her daughter's hair, I have students all the time that are dealing with their hair, talking about their hair, Of course, they always deal with lacking the confidence, and it comes from hair. And braids is a very universal thing. Everybody wears braids now, and it's very popular, very lucrative. And I started braiding when I was only 10 years old. I'm self-taught. And it just came from practice and patience. And I tell the kids all the time, practice makes progress. And it went from there. It started out as just me being something. I wanted to do my own hair. I wanted to be confident. I wanted to look good every day. And I remembered how I felt as a child. And my mother didn't necessarily know how to braid my hair either. And I'm just pouring into the children because that's what I do. I love education. I love kids. And so here we are. Right now, I had an overwhelming, this started last year. And because of the overwhelming response and request to have the braid camp and the classes, this year I broke it up into 4 different sections. And it went from beginner, intermediate to advanced. And that gave parents the opportunity to choose where the children were. It was only 4 days long. I didn't want to make it too long, but it allows anybody, not just girls, but girls and boys, black and white, everybody. It's a very inclusive camp. I try and make it fun for them. And right now, it's grade 6 through 12 or 10 to, about 17, 18. But last year I allowed some younger ones, but I know going into next year, I'm going to be creating classes for our even younger kids. Who knew that they were younger than 10 would be so interested in braiding?
Well, we are, let's be honest. I mean, the way we look is important. Okay. And it seems like it's getting more and more important. Not only just because we want to look good and be attractive, but it's tied to business success and professional success.
Yeah.
And, you take a look at all kinds of different cultures. I know for a long time that men who were bald, it just wasn't acceptable or very attractive. Now it's like the sexiest thing ever. So we do go through trends and changes, right? But maybe some of the attention to what you're doing was spurred on by this new legislation in Michigan called the Crown Act. It was signed into law in June. CROWN is an acronym for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. And the act makes discrimination based on texture and race-based hairstyles like braids, locks, twists, illegal in the workplace. And, do you want to talk about that a little bit, maybe the importance of that?
Yes, it's so important, and I was very happy when the Crown Act had passed. And as you can see, I wear locks myself. It is styled, and I think that it brings across awareness that natural hairstyles, locks, braids, and things of that, afros, they can be very professional in the workplace. And I do recall when those, wearing braids or wearing locks or even an afro was not acceptable in the workplace. And then we also hear about the young people that were being criticized for not wearing their hair appropriately for different schools that they belong to or sporting events. And I think I had seen where, one young man had to cut his locks off during the sporting event, or they were going to disqualify him, and people being penalized to lose their jobs for not being able to wear their natural hair. So I think the Crown Act passing was so important because it's embracing diversity of to bring awareness that natural hair and these different hairstyles are not something that is inappropriate or offensive. You can definitely wear these styles and they look very professional. I know on one of the media outlets, I got a lot of questions about my own hair. They wanted to know, who did it, how was it done? It's very intricate, but just for people of color, our hair and how we wear our hair, it's so much more. It's so much more than what people understand. It's about, for one, it's a protective style, which helps your hair grow at a healthy rate. And it's self-expression of who you are. And just, the empowerment that it brings, that you're wearing, we take our hair very seriously and we have the versatility to wear it in different ways. But I think it also allows people to accept different cultures and how we want to wear our hair, and that it can be just as professional as anything else.
Well, Passion, I appreciate what you're doing and bringing light to this. And, there's just been a lack of understanding, and I think more people get it. But, we do recognize that African-American women, a lot of them in the past maybe have felt they had to get their hair straightened or go through some ridiculously expensive process. And I have friends that have spent so much money on their hair and worked so hard on it. And, to try to comply with these, non-natural hair standard, cultural whatever. And good to see that we're moving in a positive direction. You're a big part of change for the better, and I salute you this morning. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
I appreciate you, and I would like to, because I've gotten so many questions. I really appreciate this. And my last section of camp is starting on Monday. And again, I am a teacher at West Bloomfield, and I'm, just using the space while I'm there. And I appreciate it. But my last session is starting on Monday. Today is about the last day that anyone can sign up, but we invite any and everyone that would like to attend. And you definitely get to learn about different hairstyles, but braiding, learning a trade where anybody can also learn. Braiding is very lucrative, and children can learn to do this and start their own business. So just wanted to say that it's very open, and I appreciate you having me.
Passion, thank you very much. Real quickly, because we got to scoot along, where do people go? How do they get a hold of you if they want to sign up for the class?
They can email me at passion.barnes@gmail.com. I know I had a lot of people reach out to the district and they just refer them to me. But if they go right to my email, they can email me directly. Or if they're on Instagram, there is a link in my bio where they can click and register and get all of the information that they need. Everything is there. Just reach out, email, or they can go on my social media page to register. And I'm very good at responding, so I'll get back to them. Some of them.
All right. Well, you are, because I was able to get you booked on the show, Pashun Barnes. Thank you very much. Great work. We appreciate it. And I assume you don't have to live in West Bloomfield. If you live in Bloomfield Hills, or you live in the East Side, or in Detroit, or wherever, just get online and sign up. Pashun, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
All right, Pashun Barnes in the braid camp. I got it right now. Good to see that happening. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Gary Graff, a music columnist extraordinaire, is going to help me get set up for the Eagles concert. Tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock today. He's got tips. We'll be right back. You're watching The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road. Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Morning, welcome back to The Splash Live. Dave Scott, really looking forward to a concert that I have never had the opportunity to see. The Eagles, they've been one of the iconic rock bands during my life. Hotel California isn't always number one on those classic rock playbacks on holidays, but it's almost always in the top 5, right up there with, Stairway to Heaven and Freebird. And our local connection, obviously, to the Eagles couldn't be stronger. Just one of the greatest bands. I've never seen them. So now they're coming. Gary Graff is joining us. Of course, our best known and most prolific music writer here in Metro Detroit. Gary, good morning, and welcome to the Splash Live.
Good morning, Dave. Nice to be here.
So, Gary, I don't know what to do. So, listen, you and I remember the days when I would just get the tickets and show up backstage and, be reporting on the event. It's not like that anymore. I'm buying tickets now with everybody else. Eagles go on sale this morning at 10 o'clock. I'm lost, okay? I have no idea what to do. Tell me that there is some science to getting these tickets.
There isn't that much of a science. It's get yourself in line in the queue, as they like to say in the digital world, and hope that you're one of the people who gets a face value ticket before they go to the secondary sellers. And the challenge in this being that Ticketmaster runs its own secondary seller operation. So in some ways, it's buying tickets from itself to then sell at an elevated price. So I wish I could tell you the science. I was going to say I wish I could tell you this.
No, go ahead. Ticketmaster has become the scalper. Is that what you're trying? Is that what you're trying to say? That they're buying the tickets from themselves and then reselling them at a higher price to increase their profits even more?
I'll let you be the one to say that and extrapolating it from what I just said, but I think you can extrapolate that from what I just said, and that's why they are under various degrees of investigation. What happened with the Taylor Swift, even more so than the issues they had with the Bruce Springsteen ticket sale last year was the Taylor Swift ticket sale. Which, listen, if you are impeding House of Representatives and Senate members' daughters and granddaughters' ability to get Taylor Swift tickets, you were calling the wrath of the U.S. government upon you, and which is largely what's happened. And there is I think a proper investigation into those business practices being conducted right now.
All right, so tickets go on sale this morning. We'll get to the concert in a second. Thank you for going through the mechanics of all this with us. Is there a brand that we should be going? I'm not looking for your endorsement, just your expertise. Is there a brand that we should be going to? I mean, I bring it up. I get Vivid seats. I get a variety of different brands. They all look very credible. Is there one we should focus on?
I wouldn't necessarily call out one in particular. The main thing is to take a good hard look when you're buying these tickets. Make sure this looks like a legitimate site that you're dealing with. If you are dealing with a secondary ticket seller, the one benefit, of course, to buying through Ticketmaster's secondary selling apparatus is that those tickets actually exist. You're buying from a real incredible site, but you're paying a premium for that. One thing I do often tell people in the ticket buying world is don't be afraid to, if you don't get the tickets face value, right away, don't be afraid to sit down a little and wait till maybe the week before the show and see what shakes loose.
All right, well, let's talk about the concert itself. How big is this tour, and do you believe this really is the final tour of the Eagles?
I believe the Eagles when they say it's going to be the long goodbye, which is what they're calling the tour. I don't think they're going to do these, what do they have announced now, 20-odd dates, and I don't think it's going to be those dates and out. I think we're going to be seeing the Eagles playing during 2024, quite possibly into 2025. Elton John and Kiss have certainly set a new mark for farewell tours. Now, of course, their tours were interrupted by the pandemic as well, but they still take the pandemic away, and they still spent 3 years on the road saying farewell. And I think we could say much the same for the Eagles. Do we believe this is the final? It's a little more believable than their last final or the final before that. They're older, and I think they're at a point where they don't want touring to necessarily be the same part. It's already not the same part of their lives as it was during the 70s and 80s, even the 90s when they came back. But I think they no longer want it to be that same part of their lives. And, we might see them just like we might see Elton John do the odd one-off or something. But I think this genuinely will be the last of the full-scale concert tours.
When you look at the Eagles, I mean, really, it is one of the more intact bands these days. I mean, you've got a lot of the original members. Obviously, Glenn Fry's not going to be there. He passed away, and that's sad for us here in Detroit. But you got Joe Walsh, you got Don Henley, you got Timothy B. Schmidt, you got Glenn Fry's son, right, performing in there. That's a pretty intact collection of artists as you look back and some of the way these bands are performing.
Yeah, let me counter you on that. The only original member left in the Eagles now is Don Henley. Joe Walsh, of course, joined for Hotel California. Timothy B. Schmidt came on during the long run. I don't know if Deacon Fry, who did a great job filling in for his father for a while, is back with them. He left at one point. He did not do the Hotel California tour with them, which was their last tour. So, you're really only talking about one original member, two relatively long-time members. I think you are dealing with a credible version of the Eagles. And one thing people should know is adding Vince Gill when they came back after Glenn Fry's death was a master stroke. Tremendous singer, just as good of a guitar player, and really on the Hotel California tour, they cut him loose and let him start playing some guitar leads, and that was he's a guy who completely fits in with that band.
All right, well, I left him out, and big mistake, because you're right. I mean, I think a lot of people, a lot of people go see the Eagles, they like the Eagles, but they may really like Joe Walsh. They may really like Vince Gill. And I know I didn't see the tour with Vince Gill in it last time, but I definitely saw the Joe Walsh contributions. And, he's breaking off, and they're doing, some Rocky Mountain Way and some of his classics. Do you expect they'll do the same thing with Vince Gill?
They haven't done one of Vince's songs yet, and I've spoken with him a couple times since he's been playing with the Eagles, and he really has no desire to do that. He feels like an Eagles concert is Eagles songs. Now you're right. Joe Walsh plays some James Gang stuff. He plays Rocky Mountain Way and Life's Been Good. But because Joe has been in the band since the mid-'70s, he's had the ability to make those songs part of the Eagles repertoire. So, the Eagles have been playing.
No, go ahead, continue. We got a little delay here. Sorry about that.
Right.
Go ahead, finish your sentence.
Sure. So the Eagles have been playing Rocky Mountain Way since the mid-'70s. So that fits now as a quote-unquote Eagles song. So whereas I think to put in Vince Gill's songs, most of which are very unfamiliar to the audience, I think would be a little bit of a stretch.
All right, well, we won't keep you much longer. Final question for you today. You have interviewed so many of the iconic artists in music when they're on the road. Does traveling for them beat them up? Is it really hard, or in this modern era when these guys are making so much money and they're so pampered, and I'm sure they're jumping on and off the road, are they loving it, or is it really, really tough for them?
The older the artists get, the harder the travel is, even if you're traveling like the Eagles or the Rolling Stones or Paul McCartney, in the lap of luxury with days off between concerts. It seems to beat them up even more. The young 20-something, 30-somethings are happy to hop in the van or the tour bus and just do the road warrior thing. But it's a grind. There's no two ways about that. And if you talk to any touring musician or a crew member, who work even harder than the musicians do, they will talk to you about the constant state of exhaustion that they're in over the course of a tour. And I think that's true, even if you are traveling in luxury, like a band like the Eagles.
All right, Gary, well, thanks for your time today. Listen, if I don't get my Eagles tickets, I'll be calling you. Maybe you need to do some video reporting backstage and need a photog to follow you around.
I do occasionally
do that.
I do occasionally employ bodyguards, so I'll let you know.
There you go. I think I can handle that one too. Gary, before we go, tell people what you're doing today, where they can find you on the web or your other projects before we say so long.
You know, Graff on Music on Twitter, Gary Graff on Music on Facebook, Real Graff on Music on Instagram. Today there will be reviews from Brett Michaels, Party Gras tour opener last night at Pine Knob. This weekend it's all about Ed Sheeran. Friday night at the Royal Oak Music Theater, Saturday night at Ford Field. Part of a huge concert weekend. I mean, we've got the Faster Horses Festival happening. We've got Kid Rock doing two shows at Joe Louis Arena. Ton of other shows around the area. This is when I'm getting impatient for cloning technology.
Okay, well, thank you for the update. We'll keep an eye on your stuff and look forward to seeing you in person. And thanks for your time this morning. Gary Graff joining us this morning right here. Good to have you with us. Gary Graff joining us this morning here on the Splash Live. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Well, good morning and welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott, so appreciative of our guest this morning. And Gary Graff, really good guy, and it's always great to have him here on the show to get the latest on what is going on in the music industry. And I'll let you know how I do on my Eagles tickets here when the show is over. I hope we get hooked up. So great news in Oakland County. All summer long, Oakland County is producing adaptive recreation events. So we got a great summer here going on. No reason why people that are have limited mobility can't get out and have a lot of fun. Oakland County embraces its diverse communities and is committed. Oakland County is committed to, and I lost my script here, we'll get it back in a second, is committed to the well-being of all residents. Oakland County Parks invites individuals with disabilities for summer fun and making memories. Now, we've got a QR code here that we're going to put up on the screen, and if you want more information about some of the adaptive activities that are going on in Oakland County this summer, and there's stuff, I mean, I looked at the schedule. There are events that are going on virtually every weekend, if not more often. All you really got to do is take your phone and scan that QR code, and that'll take you right to the Oakland County site with all of the information. And there you'll be able to get up to date on some of the activities that are going on. They have a complete schedule there, and I know you will find all of that informative and helpful. And if that doesn't apply to you, why not share that information with a friend or a neighbor who might also benefit from it? So here in the program, we've been reporting about the likely impending addition of a new Chaldean Community Center coming to West Bloomfield. And we've been reporting on the story, but we actually have I think we have video this morning and have the ability to give you a report. We found a report on Facebook with an update from the folks at the Chaldean Community Center. And they're talking about this new construction project that once it gets through planning, and I think it has, and gets through all of the approvals from West Bloomfield Township, will start on Inkster Road and Walnut Lake Road. Let's watch that video.
You may have heard of the community's newest acquisition, which is the Corners building here in West Bloomfield. The 7-acre parcel will include a new radio station for the Chaldean Voice, television studios to support the work of the Chaldean News and CNTV, a business incubator, a full-court gymnasium, and a 100-seat theater. The renovation will include a new 2,000-square-foot lobby that will replace much of the vandalism you see behind me. This new community center will add to the wonderful institutions we already have in West Bloomfield, including the St. Thomas Chaldean Catholic Church, the Shenandoah Country Club, and many other wonderful institutions like the Chaldean Cultural Center. It also complements the community center we have in Sterling Heights that serves more than 40,000 individuals every year. We hope to start the renovation as early as August 1, once we get through the approvals with West Bloomfield Township.
All right, that is Martin Manna, who we talked to and have had on the show, and is instrumental in this whole project. You can see the rendering of the building right there. Not only is this going to be great for our community to continue the incredible diversity that we have here, but it's also going to take a piece of property that I think Martin was fair in saying hasn't really been kept up. And right on Walnut Lake Road, like I said, just west of Inkster. I'm sure you've driven by that property many times. It was an old school and then has gone through a variety of other uses over the years. And it's a nice, sizable campus that the Chaldean Cultural Center can incorporate a lot of the old infrastructure and building structure that was there from the old school and utilize that effectively, but also give it a total facelift, clean up the property, get it looking spectacular. It's a very important piece of land, a very important project, and I just want to continue to keep you up to date on the progress. As Martin said there in the video, likely if they get all the approvals, they're ready. They're ready to start moving dirt. They just need to get all the final approvals from West Bloomfield, and they'll be off to the races. We were at the West Bloomfield Planning Commission meeting a couple of weeks ago, and they are moving along pretty quickly. So I expect all of this is going to happen. Construction work could begin even as early as August, should all of the I's get dotted and T's get crossed. And keep an eye on it. So as you're driving around the neighborhood, if you're on Walnut Lake Road, and you see some construction beginning on that site, that will be what we saw on the screen. And we can put it up one more time, the rendering of the new Chaldean Cultural Center that will be added right here in West Bloomfield. All right, we're going to take a break. We have more coming up. Don't go away. Good morning. I'm Dave Scott. This is The Splash Live, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Well, good morning and welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here, and we're getting ready for the weekend. Started to talk about really exciting and fun things that are going to be coming up right here in our community, of course. And it isn't going to be long. You're going to be able to drive by West Bloomfield High School, Bloomfield Hills High School, the Walled Lake Schools, any school in Metro Detroit, and see our football teams in practice. And that is where we're at. We are apparently 45 days away from the beginning of the West Bloomfield High School football season. So West Bloomfield, last couple of years, has done exceedingly well. They did get knocked out of the tournament early last year, but overall we have had some of the most prolific players in southeastern Michigan and the state of Michigan playing football in West Bloomfield. You'll be seeing many of them performing on Saturday, and I think probably the biggest star of all, Donovan Edwards at the University of Michigan. Samaj Morgan is going to be at the University of Michigan this year as a wide receiver, so he'll be in the freshman class there and likely having an opportunity to play. And I can go on and on and on talking about the graduates from West Bloomfield that are moving on to a variety of great programs. The West Bloomfield High School football schedule was just released, so let me run down this here real quickly. We are really excited that on August 24th, at the end of the season, or the beginning of the season, we are going to be at Wayne State University, as we have been for the past several years, for the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic. Now, only the best teams in the state of Michigan and in the region are invited to this prestigious big kickoff game. It happens at Wayne State University, so it's really exciting because we're in a terrific university setting, and again, it couldn't be a better way to kick off the season. This year, West Bloomfield will be playing Clinton Township, Chippewa Valley at 7 o'clock on August 24th to kick off the season. We'll, of course, have all of that coverage for you right here live on Civic Center TV, hopefully video and audio coverage for virtually all of our games this year. We follow that up with a surprisingly talented Birmingham Groves team, and this is going to be away, so our first two games are on the road. Finally, the Lakers come home for the first home game of the season. Mark your calendar for September 8th when Rochester Hills Stony Creek comes here. We go on the road to Lake Orion, always a great matchup. I can remember a game a couple of years ago where West Bloomfield and Lake Orion got all tied up, and then the weather came in and we had to close the game down for the night, go back to Lake Orion the next day and finish the game. So it's always exciting when these two teams get together. The team that has been our nemesis for the past couple of years, Rochester Adams, who's knocked us out of a lot of opportunities. Used to be Belleville, was always the team we couldn't get past. Rochester Adams has been doing a really good job with the West Bloomfield Lakers. We've not been able to beat them. We get them at home, and I think this is the biggest home game of the season this year, and it's going to be September 22nd as Rochester Adams and West Bloomfield go at it. Historically, our best rival here in the area has been Clarkston. We're playing them on the road the following week, Oxford on the road, so we're up north 2 weeks in a row, then back home for Southfield A&T, and then we conclude the season against Oak Park. So really good schedule for the West Bloomfield Lakers. Again, high-profile schedule. Likely our team is going to be one of the top teams, again, in the state of Michigan and certainly in the region. They're always impressive. We're under a new head coach this year, and we couldn't be more excited to be bringing you all of this coverage live on Civic Center TV during the regular season. So it's been a big development of the Michigan High School Athletic Association, allowing us to broadcast these games live on television. We'll be doing that for you again this year from West Bloomfield High School in the Swamp and the football field there, and look forward to it. And again, good to see that calendar, and very excited. It's going to really be exciting for all of us, local West Bloomfield people, and similar things going on in other schools. So if you're a Walled Lake student or a Bloomfield Hills student, you've got your great stories too. But West Bloomfield High School on Friday night, then a lot of us, even if we're Spartan fans, are going to watch Michigan. We'll see our other players at Michigan, Michigan State, Northwestern, other Big Ten schools. The students that have graduated, so many of them going on to other big-time programs, and we couldn't be more excited about that. So one more quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up this segment of the Splash Live. Good morning, I'm Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu.
Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
it's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here. Tyler Keefe is off for today. So we've been talking about the Eagles concerts and all the other huge concerts going on this weekend. Of course, concerts right here in West Bloomfield and in our surrounding communities are also equally exciting. Well, maybe I oversold that a little bit. Would I rather see the Eagles at LCA or maybe the Tom Petty Tribute Band on the 19th at Marshbank Park? Well, okay, I get it. But these concerts are an awful lot of fun. Marshbank Park in West Bloomfield, we have an absolute terrific facility, very similar, except admittedly a lot smaller than what you'll find at Pine Knob or what you'll find at Meadowbrook, a great outdoor theater where you could sit on the hill, enjoy the evening. There's food trucks, there's music, there's an awful great time and a lot of great musical entertainment and a nice stage setup for the bands to perform on as well. West Bloomfield Parks has done an excellent job with this concert series. We were rained out this week, so we've got a replacement date. I don't have it in front of me for the concert that happened this week, but upcoming weeks, take a look at this lineup. It's going to be great. If you like the music of Tom Petty, then you're going to want to get out there on the 19th next week to see the band called The Insiders, and they are a Tom Petty tribute band. The following week, the Detroit Retro Society is going to be there, and that should be an awful lot of fun. And then we've got a Bob Seger band, a Bob Seger tribute band called Catmandu is going to be there on August 2nd, and then the makeup date of Collision 6. So get out there, keep an eye on your calendar, keep an eye on the show here. We'll let you know about all the exciting concerts coming up at Marshbank Park. And there's so many things that West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation does during the summertime. We can't get to all the camps and excitement and activities and things going on. Go to their website, and when you go to their website, WB Parks website, look up all the information about Marshbank. These concerts are great. A ton of people go. It's a beautiful atmosphere, and I can't recommend strongly enough that if you've not taken the opportunity to go to one of these shows, that you take an opportunity to do so and get out and enjoy the summer concert series at Marshbank Park in West Bloomfield. So unfortunately, all this good news today, a little bit of a challenge for us here in Oakland County. Unfortunately, auto theft has been on the rise in many communities, not necessarily specifically here in West Bloomfield, Keego, Sylvan, Orchard Lake, but certainly across the county. We have seen an increase in auto thefts, and a lot of this is going on because the technology, so many of us, we're all using fobs, right, to get in and out of our car. So apparently the car thieves have figured out a way to hack our fobs and get into a car with a replica fob and then steal the car. So you have that contributing to the challenge. And then on top of that, the local police and authorities, and we talked to Chief Fitzgerald earlier this week from Keego Harbor, the local authorities recommend strongly, especially during the summer, that you don't leave anything in your car that is visible through the windows. So if you've got a purse, if you've got, for goodness sakes, a computer, any other valuable items, don't leave them on your passenger seat. First of all, it's going to get really hot in your car. That might not be the best thing for your computer in the first place. But in addition, leaving those items that are visible in your car is an attraction and an incentive to somebody to come smash your window, grab that stuff, and get out of there before anybody is able to respond to it. So technology playing a role in all this. Unfortunately, when technology changes, we have to adjust. So the big thing to do, continue to park your car in a clear, conspicuous area, and then just try not to leave anything in your vehicle that could be attracting somebody to your vehicle to break in and take something, because then you got an awful lot to deal with. And those numbers are on the increase in Oakland County. That's our headline for you today. So before we go, I just want to take one last opportunity to bring you up to date on our biggest tip of the day for those people that are navigating through the construction zone in Keego Harbor. If you avoid that construction zone during the peak rush hour, what you're going to find is this, and we've got some video here. You could take a look at the video that we have of the construction zone. You'll see some of the work that's going on. But in addition, if you look closely, you're going to notice that, like right there, I mean, there's not a million cars backed up on Orchard Lake Road. This was shot early in the morning. And if you take a look at the rest of the series of video, you can see what's going on there. That's Orchard Lake Road, by the way, right near Commerce Road. As we get further into the construction project, you can see there aren't a lot of cars moving. Now, admittedly, it's harder to get into the area. You can see some of the resurfacing work that's going on there as they tear off the old surface and get ready to put the new surface on. But the other thing that I thought was fascinating in looking at this video is, look, there just aren't that many cars there on Orchard Lake Road. So good sign. First of all, a lot of people are watching the splash and are avoiding the area. Some of the road closures, as we see in that sign right there, are really helping to discourage people from getting in the way of the construction and finding alternative routes. And then I think most of us, just common sense, do we want to sit in a half-hour traffic jam on Middlebelt Road trying to access Orchard Lake Road? I've heard a lot of people that said earlier in the week that was what they were running into. Now, I think people have figured it out. And the bottom line, as you can see from this video and our aerial videos too, that we don't need to show now, but we saw earlier in the program, there just isn't that much traffic on Orchard Lake Road during the non-rush hours. So avoid rush hour if you can. Continue to work around your alternative routes. And then don't be afraid to go to Keego and Sylvan and enjoy the local businesses. Support those local businesses because they really need you now more than ever during this construction period. So that's going to be about it for today. Thank you very much for watching the Splash Live. We really appreciate you taking time to be a part of our program. I want to thank our entire crew who's done an amazing job this week as we rebuild this whole program into something a little bit new. Tyler, of course, off today. He's been working around the clock to make all this happen. And Jared and Calvin Brown and Jared Clark, our producers and engineers, just making so much happen behind the scenes, getting us all linked up and getting all this video and graphic components all added in here. They've been doing an absolutely terrific job. So thanks to all, and thank you very much for watching the Splash Live.